Well, hello. As we're getting closer to spring, I'm starting getting ready for fresher food, but also food I can make fast because I'm working outside all day and I want to come in and have something delicious and not spend hours making it. And that's what these Korean style lettuce cups are. It is a Korean style chicken that has so much spicy, wonderful flavors. It's slightly on the spicy side, but you can adjust it to make it less. But it also just has a fresh crunch. It's delicious, it's nutritious, but it's just good to eat, and that's what matters. So to start, we're gonna kind of marinate the chicken and just get it ready. So we're using ground chicken, which to me is great. You can have it at home, you can have it in the freezer ready to go, pull it out the day before you wanna use it, stick it in the fridge and let it thaw, and now we can just add all these flavors to really amp it up a little bit. So we're gonna start with, if you haven't used it, it's really good. It's a fermented chili sauce, but it's a Korean style, so it's Gochujang. And I love it because it has so much flavor to it, and it's just delicious. It's a flavor bomb in itself, and you really can't go wrong. Now, it has a little bit of spice, but we're gonna add more spice. We sure are, with Korean chili flakes. Now, if you don't have Korean chili flakes, you could go out and use a regular chili flake, but there is a difference here. And the Gochugaru, oh my goodness, so much goodness here. So when I'm making kimchi, I use a lot of these Korean chili flakes in my kimchi, and it makes a huge difference, and it really does have a great flavor. So we're gonna add those right in there. All these flavors are really gonna come together and make something that is just, it's mouth-wateringly good, but it also is unique, and that's what's fun here. We're gonna add some soy sauce. Soy sauce, obviously, I think you know why. But you know, what's great about soy sauce is, it's kind of traditional, but also, more than that, it has a lot of seasoning in it. So it's like a good salt to it too. So we're gonna add a few hits here of the sauce. You of course could use a low sodium one. I'm using the full strength because it's that good. We're gonna put that right in there. And then we're gonna put in some sesame oil. Now sesame oil, if you've had a toasted sesame oil, make sure it is toasted. Toasted means it's gonna have more flavor, but it can be overpowering. So we don't put as much in as you would with other oils because it's more of a flavoring we're adding. So we're gonna add that right in there. And instantly, if you were here, you could smell all these delicious things coming out of here. So we're gonna add some honey. Now, honey is a little bit of an interesting one, but what it's doing is adding a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of sugar content to balance out all these flavors. And that's really important, I think, when you're using stronger flavors and the spiciness and everything to really balance it all out. With that in there, we're gonna then finish up with some fresh ginger. Now, not ground ginger, fresh ginger, which I think is completely different. It's bright, it's beautiful. So I just took a piece of ginger. You usually buy it in the store by different sizes, different amounts. I broke off a piece, and I'm just using the back of a spoon, making sure I get all of that skin off. The skin sometimes I use, sometimes I don't. If it seems drier and a little bit more aged like this, I don't. So I just take it off. I take my microplane, and I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna do it right over the top because I want all those juices that are gonna come out to go in there too. So it'll take me a minute here, and then we'll stir it all up. So I'm finishing up, and you can see, make sure to get all that in there. So once you're done taking on the grater, give that a good pound. Make sure to get all that goodness right off in there. So to finish this up, we're gonna add a couple cloves here of garlic. And I'm just gonna, instead of mincing them, you could mince them. Sometimes for certain applications, I just find it easier to use a press. You don't have to peel them or anything. You put the whole thing right in there, maybe even a couple if they fit, if they're small enough. And then you just squeeze it, and look at all that. It just goes right in to where you're going. So I'm just gonna take my spatula, make sure to get that right off. Look, why would you go to the work if you don't have to? So what I'm gonna do now is take my spatula here, and I'm using a black one. Do you know why? Because sometimes these strong red colors can, if you have a white one, they can stain it, and you don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna stir this, and what you're gonna see here is one, something that isn't too pretty. Ground chicken, when it's not cooked or anything, it isn't really too much, but what we're doing is really making sure we mix the flavors in. And I actually like them to sit just a couple minutes, which is perfect because while these are gonna sit here and just marinate a little bit, we're going to just start by sauteing some onion, which is gonna be our base for when we then saute the chicken. Now I make sure to stir this really well because I don't want pieces of ground chicken not to have all this goodness on it. I wanna make sure that it's actually incorporating all these flavors. What's great about this is you can make this then into a salad, you can make it into lettuce cups like I'm going to. You can really do whatever you want with this because it's just that good. So it's all stirred together. You can see it's very well combined. That's the important part. So we're gonna let that just sit a couple minutes here. And while we're doing that, I have all my onion, chopped up, ready to go. I have a little bit of oil sitting here on the stove, just over some low heat. I'm gonna add my onion. We're gonna let it start sauteing, and then we're gonna add the chicken. These come together so fast, and they have a few extra crunchy additions on top. That is really honestly one of my favorite ways. The onions are softened, so just a few minutes, and that's what matters, just so they're a little bit of the edge of rawness off. And now we're gonna take this mixture, which it really smells good, and we're gonna add it right here to the skillet. And what we're gonna do is slowly be cooking this with the onion, finishing it up, and it's going to brown. It really does take on all these flavors, and it really just comes out to be such a great meal. And look how easy this was to put together. So think of all the great meals you could be making with this as kind of the base. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna let it saute. We're gonna start breaking it up as it's cooking. That's the important part. And then we'll have this chicken, and we'll do some toppings for on top of it, make these wraps. It's gonna be delicious. So you can see it completely changes as it's cooking. It doesn't look like a chicken paste anymore. It's just a nice ground meat with all that flavor. I'm turning off the heat because it's fully done. We're gonna bring it over and let it cool off slightly. So before we actually make lettuce cups, let's talk about some of the other things that we can put on top. First thing I'm always gonna do is shred some just wonderful carrots. So this is just organic carrots. And if I scrub them, and if I know how they're raised, I do not peel them. So instead what I'm doing is just taking that carrot, and look at that beautiful instant color. To me, this is a necessity. And I actually a lot of times would like to add this, a whole bunch of it directly to the meat, but it's also just great as a topping. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Look at that. And then I'll do the same thing with radish, where I'll just take radish and I'll shred it, because shredded radish is beautiful. So I'm gonna shred up some of these things. I'm gonna cut some cilantro. I'm gonna get everything ready, and then we are gonna make some lettuce cups. So this is the fun part. Once you have everything ready, you can just assemble and eat and enjoy. Now, I love to use that buttercrunch lettuce because you can just take apart these beautiful leaves, and look how perfect it is. In the spring here, I will be growing this because I love to use it. It's great for salads too. But right now, you gotta buy it because you know what? You don't have it. So this is an assemble and enjoy as you want meal. I will take some of the chicken, I will take grated carrot, I will take some maybe grated radish and put it on top. I will take some cilantro because I like that mix in. And then I just grind up some peanuts here in a mortar and pestle. I just kind of like to have a little bit of that crunch and a little bit of that saltiness if they're roasted and salted. If you want to, you could top them with some sweet chili sauce. That's kind of a delicious thing too. Just put a little bit over the top. I get that date version one. It's made with date syrup. I love that. And then guys, you just dig in. Look at that. This is truly my type of meal. You get everything in there. You get the crunchy lettuce that's delicious. You get that chicken that has so much flavor with spice notes, but it's not spicy. Like, I love spicy food, but this is not like spicy. It's just good flavor. You get crunch from carrots, cilantro, and peanuts. This is how I love to eat, and this is why I love to bring it to you, because it's a great weeknight. It's a great filling meal. It's hearty, it's delicious, it's wholesome. It's what food should be. So what do I hope you do with this? I hope you make lettuce cups, and I hope you share them around. Share this video around because yeah, it helps people find me, but it helps everyone see good, delicious food can be fun, beautiful, colorful, and just good. That's what matters. Check my website, wiseguy.com, for this recipe and all my other recipes. They're all on my website. Until next time, enjoy some good food and have fun with it. Who couldn't have fun with this?